screwdriver. I've got to do more work to it to clean it up, and I've also got to grind the valves back into the underneath of the head. So these are the dimensions I've got. The head's 475mm long, 350 wide and 90mm deep. The valve is 122mm. So when I go to grind the valves into the head, the tail out the bottom of the valve is going to stick down into the workbench. I'll show you what I mean. So that's the valve. When I press it down into the top of the head, it's going to stick up. And we're sort of geared up as a joinery workshop. I don't have a proper workbench for doing mucky oily bits, so we're going to make something to try and get around it to make cleaning the head a bit easier, and also for seating the valves. So we've got our cylinder head, very simplified, and the valves basically sit into the cylinder head. That's crap. Okay, this should illustrate the problem. So that's the head off the van. See, mess. So for one, really got to clean it up, and you can imagine the mess just going everywhere. And two, when it comes time to put the valves in, they're going to hit the bottom of the workbench, which means I can't grind them to the cylinder head. So what I've been thinking is, rather than getting shouted at for making more mess, if I make a box for the head to sit into, another rubbish drawing that has got a couple of rails in just at each end, and the same here. For the head to sit on, to give us the clearance underneath. Maybe extend this out a touch, pop a bit of an upstand on it just to catch all the horrible gubbins. Then that should give me a bit of a base really for doing all the cleaning in. It'll make it easier for me to move the head around, pop a couple of holes in the side corresponding to where the bolts go through on the head, and hopefully so that we can spin it around so that I can do the exhaust ports on one side, take the head out, spin it around and do the inlet ports, to get it all cleaned up. Much easier for me to clean a piece of scrap timber out or bin it than it is to get the workbenches all messy. And plus, if I need to just shelve it for a while until I get back to working on it, it gives me the chance to do that. So I'm only going to be using scraps for this because it's disposable. Once it's done, it's in the bin. So I thought we'd make that and show you how it works out. Oh, plus the other thing is, this sensor, I don't have a tool for taking it out, so I'm sort of dancing around it, being very careful of it. And if I start ragging it around on the bench or drop it, I'm going to damage it, and that's just going to get in the way. So we need to work around that as well. So let's see how we get on. take the depth of the support and the depth of the base, and mark that from here basically to where the bottom of this is, because that's going to be where the head's going to sit, and then the tape across the bottom can go across that line. As long as they're both marked out the same, should sit perfectly flat. Right, I've just marked the centre of each hole. So on the side of the crank pulleys, I've only done the bottom ones because there's only these two upper ones at the back. So, in fact, I'm fibbing to you. This is the side with the crank pulleys, cam pulleys. Okay, so we've marked the centres of each of the holes. Now to be able to spin the head around in the box, we need to just do exactly the same again on this side. So how this was sat here, it now needs to flip over and do exactly the same on this side. that'll do. Okay, the battery died whilst I was finishing everything off, but all I've done is, you've seen me cut the parts. I've just cut the notch in the top of each one, which is for that wire there. Like I say, I didn't have the spanner for getting it off, and to be honest with you, now I've got this far, I'm just not going to bother. It's in there, I can clean around it, I'm not worried about that. But for turning the head upside down for seating the valves, I've just taken the notch down so that the wire can pass all the way through without getting disrupted. Screwed it all together because, to be honest with you, I wanted to make sure that it would work, or you know, what I was planning on doing would actually work. What you're seeing here is the process, and it does. And if I'm being dead honest at this point, you probably don't need to drill the holes. You know, you've got a bit of extra security, but in reality it doesn't move. So I'll show you the head in its little cleaning tray. Right, this for me was the purpose of doing that, so that I can clean it, and just purely whilst it's being sat there, that's the mess, and that's just whilst it's being sat there whilst I've done this video. So there's the head of his little box. Now, right, confessional time. The rails at the side, built them to the wrong height. So these were the original ones, and I just miscalculated. I cut them 10mm too short in height. So I've just cut those. On this head it's 40mm instead of 30 as the original. So all I've done is pop those in and just lifted the side up by 10mm. So it doesn't make any difference to it, but just wanted to let you know. So the whole point of doing this in the first place was so that I could sit that in there. It's actually really solid. In hindsight, I don't think you actually need to drill the holes. And then I can pop the valves in, seat the valves, and I've still got clearance underneath. Not huge amounts, but you only need some. So it just means that I can seat the valve without it, there you go, without it fouling at the bottom. There we are. Also means I can clean off all the old oil and mess and all the horribleness that's getting spread everywhere in the shed, and still keep it, you know, relatively tidy. Cleaning out the ports. So it's quite a snug fit. The 6mm go in here and here, and then on this side. We've got clearance then to bolt it down in these should we need to. So that actually worked out pretty well. Just cutting the slot in here means I can flip it either way. Cleaning out all of these, I can see me giving it some grief with, I don't know what it'll be. It'll be a steel bristle detachment for the drill, or a die grinder, or something. The other thing is as well with the, I can, if I want to jet wash it off, I can just sit it outside and have the jet wash and it can run off. I was cleaning stuff on an old pallet the other day, and as soon as I moved the part, all the muck and mess and debris had all sort of congealed around the edge where the part was sat on the pallet. So this should just give it, you know, a bit more chance to run off. Anyway, the whole point of this is that it's just a quick little jig made out of scraps. Shouldn't cost you anything. Shouldn't take any more than sort of 15-20 minutes, I would have thought at most. And I don't mind doing stuff like this. I do them for all sorts of different things, but it should just make it a bit easier to work on the head. Anyway, I hope it's useful to somebody. Thanks for watching.